Alright, there were some people asking about some issues with the event trigger, so I wanted to make this demonstration. I'm also going to show a couple other things, but first I want to do this. So this event is tied to write push, and this event is tied to write release. And what this event does is it spawns this edit song, and it just sets the volume to 0 after 50 millisecond or 500 milliseconds. Then this one spawns group 3, which just starts the song from the beginning. And at the start of the level, the song is off. That's what this does. It's not tied to any group or anything. So this is kind of what you get as a demonstration. When I let go and when I move left, nothing happens. But as soon as I'm holding, this is the D key, the song will play. So that's the idea. Now, you could replace this with footstep sounds if you wanted to. You would have to probably put it in a loop. But I've noticed the reason I don't really like this event thing with moving right and having footsteps play is because if you're in platformer mode, you'd obviously want to go right and left, which means this would have to also be tied to releasing right and releasing left. And it gets kind of weird because the input that it's looking for is when I'm pressing the left arrow or the right arrow or letting go of one of those, but you can press them both at the same time. So this is kind of what ends up happening. Let me get away from the spikes. So it's pretty normal at first and it works, but as soon as I start pressing them both, then it doesn't work. You see what I did there? Whoops. So right now I'm holding down left, and now I'm going to start holding down the right, and then while I'm holding down the right, I'm going to let go of left. Now nothing's playing. So it's kind of buggy like that. I don't really like that. I was thinking this would be a cool concept of a level if I went at the beginning of the level and went to options and just turned off. Oh, never mind. I can't turn off moving left. I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna. I mean, there's maybe a way to do that. I don't know. But what I would prefer to do instead of all this junk is, and this is a little redundant, but it allows you to place the footsteps where you want. So I have this sound effects trigger. It's set to group 4, spawn trigger, multi-trigger, and it's just that footstep. So now I'm going to add these spawn triggers. They're going to be touch trigger. And what it's going to do is, it'll be kind of cinematic, I don't know. You can basically, we'll do it like that, but we want it, well, yeah, I'll just do that. It doesn't really matter. So I'm timing these to spawn at a certain time. Whoops. Get rid of that triple spike. I'm not that good. So it's a little bit it's not great, but using the event triggers, as I kind of showed with the music, gets a little bit weird. I'm assuming that might be the issue that some people are having with it. Personally, instead of using the footstep sounds, I'll show you what I would do. And this is also pretty customizable. So I have these two separate blocks here. One of them's grass and one of them's brick. And the idea, hold on, let me move my spawn point up there. The idea is that when I land on the grass, I want it to play this sound. And when I move on the brick, I want to play this sound, which doesn't sound very good. But whatever, who cares? It's just a video, just a video. So the grass will be set to group 2, and it will be spawn multi, and then the brick will be set to group 3, and it will also be spawn multi. Now, the way to do this, I mean, the way you would normally do it, right, is I go to event, and I would set this to spawn group 2, and it would be whenever I land. So all these. However, that would also make the same sound if I landed on the brick. So what I want to do is set a custom ID here. So if I go to extra ID and do 1, if you look at the info tab here, extra ID, it interacts with only certain objects that have a certain material ID. So what I would do here is I'm going to place this block. I'm going to make it extra hide, and if I go to extra 2, I can change the material to 1. Now it's tied to this event extra ID 1, and it'll say, okay, I'm landing on the material number 1, so that means this event will pass. Whereas if I'm landing on a different material, it won't work. So I'm just going to spread this out where all the grass is. Now listen. But if I land on the ground here, nothing happens because I'm not landing on a block with extra ID or material ID 1. Now, I would do the same thing with the bricks. So let me just grab these. And I want to change their material to material 2 instead. And now what I'll do is make an event for this sound effect. It will spawn group 3 because that's what the sound effect is. And instead of ID 1, it'll be ID 2 because that's the material of this brick. I really don't like that sound effect, but, you know, replace it with something better. But that's the idea. So that's how you do those custom events with material ID, and then hopefully the other thing with the left release, right release, and all that stuff, hopefully that kind of clears things up. I'm not exactly sure what issues people were having. It's probably when you're doing both left push and right push at the same time, because it gets a little wacky since you can hold down right and then you can hold down left after that and then let go of right while you're holding down left. So the most recent event that it'll trigger is letting go of right. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, that's the idea. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, watch the video again, retweet,